the Leafs are 3-2-1. 3-2-1. The record isn't bad. Their start hasn't been great. I think most people would concede that the way that they've been playing. And let's play a couple of Stolarz clips before I'll give you guys the floor. You can speak to it and kind of take it wherever you want to take it. But let's begin with Stolarz on, kind of getting run and his reaction to obviously what's happened to him the last couple of times he's played, including back against Florida. Obviously, we know that in the second round. And he got hit by Marchment pretty hard on Saturday. Here's Stolarz on Saturday night.
I mean, it's just playing hard. I mean, maybe we can take a page out of their book and start getting to the net. I mean, for us, it's, we like to go a little high and shoot, but, it's for their goalie, it's like playing catch in the yard. I mean, I'm not happy. It's, guys are going to run me, and, I'm going to try to stand up for myself. And, I heard the ref say we got a power play, and there's really not much I can do to them on the ground. But, kudos to the guys who were there and got down with them. But, like I said, I think we got to start going to the cage a little harder, make it harder for their goalies. It's not fun. I don't like having 225-pound guys landing on me. So, hopefully learn a lesson here.
Ooh, what do you make of that?
Well, this stems back from him getting hurt in the playoffs last year, and he's clearly pissed off. And Hayes, you talked about it in the preseason, first game of the season. Teams were bumping into him. He was going down, and they were bumping into him, and he's pissed off. But what I don't understand is doing this with the media and calling out your teammates in front of the media. He knows what team he's on. He's on the Toronto Maple Leafs. They're not known for the rough stuff. They're not known for punching people in the head. The stuff that happened in preseason with the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Florida Panthers, that's not how the Toronto Maple Leafs conduct themselves. So if you want to lose your mind at your teammates with the doors closed before everybody comes in, have at it. But I don't know what he's trying to do here. And I love how fired up he is. I love that he's pissed off. But going about it like this, it's like – It makes yourself look like you're the only one that cares and everybody else is going about their business the wrong way. And maybe that's the case. I don't know. But I played with Sean Burke, and he would send somebody, a trainer, to go back and get the VHS tape and put it in and make everybody sit down in their gear before the media coaches anybody, and he would say, this is bleeping unacceptable, whatever, and everybody would have to watch it. And then we would leave and it would all be done with. But when you're calling everybody out like this, I don't know, you really put the spotlight on yourself, especially in this market. And now every time he's going to let in a bad one, somebody's going to want to go up to is William Nylander allowed to go up to the media and say, well, it's tough to win games when your goalie lets in a fluff ball like that. So he just kind of subjected himself to making yourself look like, when you make yourself look like you're the only one that cares, it's a difficult thing for everybody else to take. Because everyone's like, what are you, a hero? Maybe we could be tougher, play tougher, but that's just not who we are.
Yeah, I agree. Now, first and foremost, I respect the hell out of him being a competitor and not wanting to get run.
Me too. Nobody would like that.
That should be without saying, but we have to talk about it. Brandon Carlo pushes, I think it was Schwartz, on top of him. Your D shouldn't be pushing guys on top of you. The other one, the guy went hard to the net and ran him through the net. That sucks as a goaltender. I always try and think of the guys that, I played with some pretty great legends. Roberto Luongo, Mika Kiprasov, Grant Fear. Those guys were fiery guys in their own way, but they weren't outspoken to the media. So, this is a different and unique situation. Stolarz is the guy right now. Joseph Woll is, going through what he's going through, so he's the guy. So it's his job. But I also I feel like my question would be, was this addressed behind closed doors first? Because I always hated the messaging through the media and all of that. I respect the passion, but I agree, because all he did is shine a light on himself where if he's no good, let's say he's no good tomorrow night. Like that, now all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, you called out your teammates, you better back that up type of thing. So I respect it, but I also found he has to understand what market he lives in, what market he plays in, because we're going to be talking about this for a while, because that's something that says to me he's calling out not only his players, but maybe some leadership, maybe what's going on or not going on in that room. I took more from it just than the actual comments.
Yeah, so for starters, I like that someone finally said something.
I don't mind that.
I'm so sick and tired of the market. These guys haven't said anything in 10 years.
Yep.
Finally, someone says something, show some emotion, regardless of the content, regardless of what he said. Be human once.
Yep.
I love that. I actually love that he was human. He was pissed off. They lost.
Yeah.
He got barreled. He didn't like it, and he was pissed. You're allowed to be. For 10 years, these guys have composed themselves, come out, put a straight face on, and said, "Well, we got to learn from this, and we'll actually Finally, someone showed some emotion. Whether you like again what he said or not, I like that he was free enough to say, "I'm talking here, and I'm gonna tell you what I think." So I do appreciate that. It's also a very unique situation for Stolarz. He has been a backup his whole career. This is the first time in his career he's got security, and he is a true number one. There is no competition.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, Hayes. Like William Nylander has been a 40-goal scorer for 3 years, and him and Austin Matthews, time and time again, put up points to allow their team to have victories. And William Nylander obviously lost his guy that went to the net, a guy that hasn't scored in 100 and something games. And he
134. 134 games. I know the kid. It's unbelievable. Josh McHura is the same.
Well, if I was William Nylander, it brings back thoughts where I would be like, you know what? I did kind of lose my guy there. I just went to the net, but that guy that scored the goal hasn't scored in 134 games. So maybe come out a little bit more, do something, and you stop the puck. Like, it would just piss me off.
Well, let's play the clip here because here's what Stolarz said about the overtime winner.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the guys have been here for a while. Overtime, you can't let someone beat you up the ice there, and gets a clear-cut breakaway. I mean, minute left. You want to be on the ice in that situation. You got to work hard. Got to work back, and it cost us a point there.
Ooh, so
that's the stinging one. See, the other
I don't like
one,
that one. I really think that's a cheap shot.
It is, because you know what? I think what we were doing is I was basing my comments on kind of both of them. The first one you can 100% respect because it's like, I don't like getting run into. I don't like a 225-pound. This one is like a pointed comment. Like he's singling out plays and players.
And okay, there's a couple things. One thing I will say quickly on the previous clip.
Right.
I think what's more important, yes, he doesn't like getting run. No goalie, since you're 8 years old, you learn that goalies hate that and you're supposed to protect them. He takes, I think the coach and the manager might have been stung more than anyone with those comments because he takes a shot on how they play, low to high, no one's in front of the net. He literally said the other goalie's like playing catch in the yard. That's a shot at Craig Berube and how he coaches and how they set up. That's a shot
I don't
at him.
think Craig Berube wants to coach like that. It's how those guys play.
Okay,
they're not going to get into the inside, and they're not going to run people over. They're highly talented and skilled players that do what they do, and they've done it for a long time. Why anybody thinks it's going to change, we've talked about it for 10 years ourselves, guys. They can bring in different parts on the outside, but those top guys that get it done for them, they go about their business in a certain way, and it hasn't changed, and for anybody to think it's going to, they're nuts.
Well,
sorry.
That's fine, and I hear you. Then that's where the manager comes into play, right? He made his big. Tree Living said DNA change. Nothing's changed. There's no DNA change, right? There's nothing's changed. And what you're saying, is it can't if the main guys are still here and they operate the way they operate 10, 12, 13 years into the league, which I think is factual. I'm not disagreeing with you, but Tree Living brought in Berube, right? He brought in Berube, and Berube, if he wants him to play a different way, you got to find a way to make it happen. And if you can't, or if you think they should play a different way, then what are you ever expecting to change around here? And that's what I find most interesting about these comments is Stolarz is basically saying it's easy for the other team, it's easy for the other goalie. That's an indictment on the DNA of the whole organization and what they're trying to build and what they're trying to move towards. And, as for the overtime shot, I don't like because what happened was, first, it's a scrimmage out there. It's 3-on-3.
Broken play.
They sold out to try to win it. Matthews and Willie sold out on a 2-on-1. And I can't remember who it was that made a brilliant play on Willie to stop him at the far post. It didn't go in. It's the end of the shift, end of the game, and he got burned. He got burned up ice. There's no denying that. But Stolarz could have stopped the puck too. But it's also about who is on the ice because everyone keeps pointing to Willie. Austin's on that ice too. And Austin's kind of floating around in the neutral zone with his guys.
That's a direct comment at Willie, though.
He's
the guy that let his man go. Yeah, of course. Okay. He's the guy that let his man go. And that's what I don't understand. When you're a team that's like, we've said it about these guys for a long time. They are the guys that get it done to get you into the playoffs. Obviously, what they do in the playoffs, it hasn't worked, and they haven't had success. But these are the guys that drive the bus. 100 points, 40 goals, 45 goals, 60 goals, 69 goals. And then you lose your guy, where 2 days earlier they made one of the best plays of the year to win the hockey game for your team, and everybody's hugging him saying, oh, man, you're the best, that was awesome. And then 2 days later it's like, oh, if you're going to be out on the ice at that particular time, you got to watch what you're doing and watch your man. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, that's why it's a silly comment.
And guys, it's not just the goaltender and him getting run over. Any other organization where they have their prized young guy out there, where first somebody bowls him into the post against Nashville and runs them over and steamrolls them, would have caused an absolute brawl. And then against, I think it was Seattle, somebody cross-checked him right in the face in front of the net. And it was just the same, hey, don't do that to our...
Vince Dunn. That's what Dunn got it was Dunn that did that.
But that's the point.
Right,
like, it's
just like any other organization, like if that was Florida, imagine a young prized rookie, a first-round draft pick, just got cross-checked in front of, like, right in the face in front of the net. What the Florida, they would make your life miserable.
Well, and that's why I think the source of this commentary is fitting because of where he came from. Like, Stolarz came from Florida, and Florida has set the bar in the league. And this is, again, where I think the coaching staff comes into play. We had Aaron Ekblad on a few weeks ago, a month and a half ago. We talked about those rules, right? He wouldn't tell us what they were.
Non-negotiable.
Paul Maurice has rules. I guarantee you, one of them is if our goalie gets barreled, you're all in, and we'll kill the penalty. I guarantee you it's one of them. It's never listen for the ref to say we got a power play, so hands up, let's try to score on the power play. I'd be shocked if that's not on that board. If our guy gets barreled, all in. And make sure, because it's not just about Seattle on Saturday thinking we can't do that. It's Jersey on Tuesday and then Buffalo on Friday. Every team in the league needs to realize we can't take liberties. You know, it's always about message sending, not for the moment, but for the future. And that I'm with you, like the Cowan stuff. And again, what is frustrating, I think, for Stolarz and for Leaf fans on Saturday is maybe Austin and Willie are different, right? They're superstars. They're different. They're wired differently. They're not going to drop the gloves. They're not going to run in. But Brandon Carlo can't be wired that way. Right. Jake McCabe can't be wired that way. Like, okay, Matthews isn't going to come flying in and throwing elbows and sticks and whatever. I'm not sure Barkov does that. I don't think Reinhart does it. I'll give you a couple of examples, but I guarantee you Mikkola does.
Yeah.
You know, I guarantee you that Ekblad does. So it's, yes, you can have a couple of exceptions that are still frustrating, but you can reason with them. When it's Matthews, when it's Nylander, you can't with the rest of the group. Yeah. And what happens is every year something like this takes place, and then they have to come out and tell the world, no, we're a team, we're close-knit, and we're tough. And what I guarantee will happen tomorrow night, someone's going to fight. There'll be a fight tomorrow night. Someone in Jersey's probably like, okay, something's coming.
Or an unnecessary 5-minute major that's going to cost them the hockey game because somebody wants to act tough.
Well, right. And someone's going to do something tomorrow to prove we learned our lesson.
Yeah. And Jamie, you talked about the market. Like, the reason this is unnecessary, like, you can come out and say, I'm tired of getting run over. The league's got to start protecting the goaltenders better. And there's a different way to go about it. I know, Hayes, that you appreciated him coming out because there was some emotion.
Yes.
And these guys have been robots for a long time. But the problem with this is, like, they're in third place with 7 points in the Atlantic Division. Like, you hear nothing coming out of Tampa Bay right now. Like, there's no, and they're terrible right now. They're not good. Yeah. Florida just lost 3 in a row. And like, there's teams that are really like there's some pissed off people. We talked about it in our group chat. Like, there's some pissed off people. The coach in San Jose wants to give up his children for a win. And now we're talking about this mess in Toronto, and it's actually not that bad. That's why in this market you kind of got to know what you're doing media-wise, and it's not really necessary.
Well, I felt, and Brian, you're right. Like, we're in the business of talking about this, so it's great for us. But my point being is this a story that goes away today or tomorrow, or does this linger because now all of a sudden it festers into something else? And that's where, I thought of that right away with these comments Saturday night. Respect the emotion. Respect how hard he plays. Respect how he wants to, be treated in the net and hold his teammates accountable. But also, is this plant a seed as to, like, are we going to be talking about this now for weeks on end, because if something happens, and there's no response here or a bad play here, like that's what worries me for the group, because a lot of times these comments are behind the closed doors all the time, where a guy on the bench will yell down, "Hey, wake up there. We need a better play." Like that stuff in game happens all the time. What we just saw is some of the things that happened behind closed doors, but it wasn't. So now what it is, it's we're going to be talking about it for a while until something else comes.
I hear you, but listen, they have sheltered everything up for a decade.
Right.
What has it gotten them? Nothing.
Yeah.
And it would have been better to hear it from the captain, quite frankly. These comments would have been even better from Matthews, and I think what it does is put a spotlight on those guys. Like, are you going to speak like this?
I've said it for years, Brian, doing the Sports Center hits in the playoffs, where it's like it'll be a devastating loss where they just get crushed or something, and all of them will wheel out there and they'll be like, our structure and our execution. And I always say to Duthie, I'm like, this was nothing about structure or execution. Like, nothing to do with it.
Right.
Nothing to do with it, but that's what they would always go to.
Yeah, I think Stolarz, I think this is going to boost his reputation in the market. I think I think people are going to love, I think they love this kind of stuff. I know where you guys are going with it, and I think the hockey instinct is keep it in the room, and I understand why, and I get it. But this organization, I think, has been overwhelmed with this idea that the market is going to swallow you up, or you say the wrong thing, or it goes a certain direction, it's going to kill you. And I don't believe that's true. I think something needs to change. There needs to be a different sound, a different feel. I think this is actually better. A comment like this is coming when you're 3-2-1, because you're not at rock bottom. Like, snap out of it now, 3-2-1, get rocking. Like,
okay,
you've got a lot of opportunity here.
Let me ask you this. You say, what does snap out of it mean to you? Let me hear that. What does snap out of it mean? You think someone's going to get their ass kicked now for running the goaltender over? Do you think they're going to start running?
Shouldn't they, though? Like, shouldn't someone react?
They should.
You haven't seen it in 10 years because the guy's been here for 2 years, a tandem goaltender, and he's playing a hero in the media. Now they're going to start.
Wrong. That doesn't mean he's wrong.
I totally agree, but we've been saying the same thing for 10 years and it hasn't changed. And why is the goaltender saying it's going to change it? And
I don't know
all of
if
a sudden
will.
It's going to be Slapshot.
I don't know. I'm not saying Slapshot here, but I think
I'm not either.
This is why these comments ring out, is because it strikes a nerve with a lot of fans. That there's a lot of fans that don't like that they're not tough enough. That there's not, there's old school fans, new school fans. There's people that look at it differently. And in reality, when you talk about team toughness, there's two ways to define it. Between the whistles, which I think they're tough enough. I don't think they get pushed around or pushed off pucks, or they can't win battles, or they can't get to the front of the net. Stolarz may see it differently, but they're pretty big, pretty savvy, veteran. Between the whistles, I think they're tough enough. Then there's the after the whistles, where it's a different story, clearly. Now, it's not the 80s anymore. It's not the same barometer. It's not the same definition of what you have to be considered team tough once the whistle is blown. But I don't know what I can expect. I don't know what to expect. But I think what makes this refreshing is that this was unexpected, because for 10 years, it would have just been, we played hard tonight, and, we'll take it. Too bad we missed a point. We'll turn it over. Where at least maybe someone has to respond to this. Why not? Because they've tried everything else for a decade.
Yeah.
Why not try to poke a bear through the media for the first time that I can recall in the Matthews era? I don't remember another player calling out the leadership of the team.
You would never dare. You would never dare.
Okay.
Well, but Florida, just what's happened is no one would ever dare do what this guy just did.
Right.
But do you think Florida? I know it's not a story down there because no one cares and no one covers them. That's why. A comment could be made like this by someone in Florida. You'd never notice. No one pays attention. But I could see a Florida Panther player coming out and blasting their team.
You know what a Florida Panther player would say? What he just said is not even an option for us. Like, that is so far gone for us to even think about one of us having to say that. And you just talked about Maurice's rules and stuff like that. This stuff here is not even in the equation for the Tampa Bay Lightning, for the maybe Vegas, for Florida.
Winners.
Right. Yes. Yeah, and it's not about being tough and the slap shot and stupid stuff and fighting. It's just when people get pissed off that it doesn't happen, is because there's a level of caring there. A level of caring that your goaltender's getting run over. A level of caring that your young stud that's been drafted just got cross-checked in the face and ran into the post, and you care about it. And it's just, if you're just going to say, that's not for me, it's a totally different vibe. And
it's a DNA, man. It's how you're wired, naturally wired.
One word comes to mind when I think of all of this. I know that both of you are talking about it. Accountability. That's really what it is. And how you view it. I mean, Stolarz called it out and said, who's being accountable for it? Somebody screwed up. Yeah, all of that type of stuff. My worry was going back to just me personally as a goalie going, this guy shot. He put a light on himself.
Sure.
Because you got it. That's the thing. I played with some of the greatest goaltenders of all time. I've never heard them once ever come out in the media and go, this guy's got to be better. This has got to be. And that's what concerns me because Stolarz, he's had a few good games and he's had a few okay games. Like he's going to be the guy. He's playing every night. So what he did is he spoke and he's allowed to and he's respected to do that. But he's got to back it up with his play too.
100%. And again, the overtime stuff I think was a cheap shot at the players. And that's Matthews, Nylander, Riley. Those are your three longest standing star players. Those are the guys who run the room. It's their room, and it has been for a decade. And those three guys run the ice. Like that's what makes the comment ring out. But again, they sold out on the 2-on-1. They didn't get it, and they got beat. It's a 3-on-3 shinny play. It happens. He still could have made the stop. But the other stuff is what really matters. The overtime stuff, whatever. That doesn't matter, whatever. It's going to come and go. But talking about how the other goalie is so relaxed, how you're not tough, how it'd be great if we got a reaction. Like that chews at a team because you guys know it, man. Players, you're either you're instinctively wired to go and attack, or you have to think first, then you go. Yes. And what the Leafs are is they're a think first, then go team. Where Florida is we're going. Tampa, when they won their cups, gloves are off, we're going. It doesn't matter. We don't care about a power play. We don't care about the scoreboard. We don't care if it's overtime. That's how we're naturally wired. The Leafs are not. And Stolarz has shined a light on that. And I think what makes it sting is they know it. And the problem is I don't know if you can't go into a lab and change that. What do you do? It doesn't mean there aren't tough guys. It doesn't mean there aren't guys that next time won't jump, and I guarantee you they will. He'll get touched tomorrow night, and the gloves will fly. I guarantee it. It'll happen.
To Buffalo, I think, last year where there was something happened, and Lindy Ruff was like, it's embarrassing, our response to that. And the next game, there was line brawls.
Yes, exactly. And that will happen, but that's fine. You do it tomorrow night. What happens in March when he gets hit again? Do you instinctively say go, or do you have to stop and think first and say, oh, yeah, Stoley called us out. We better go. Because there's a big difference in that split second. That split second in the mentality is a completely different player. It's a completely different person. And that, we'll see, man.